The San Francisco 49ers are once again at the center of the NFL rumor mill, and this time it is not idle fan speculation or social media noise. When a respected NFL insider hints that San Francisco is quietly lining up a massive move, it immediately raises red flags across the league because this front office does not leak for attention.
John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan operate with discipline, and historically, when smoke appears around this organization, there is usually a fire already burning behind closed doors. The question is not whether the 49ers are exploring something big, because elite teams always are. The real question is why now? What problem they believe must be solved immediately, and how aggressive they are willing to be to fix it.
At face value, the timing feels odd. The 49ers are still viewed nationally as Super Bowl contenders. The roster is stacked with elite talent on both sides of the ball, and the coaching staff remains one of the most respected in football. Yet insiders do not casually float the phrase "massive move" unless something inside the building is causing concern. That concern could be structural, financial, or philosophical.
And history tells us this organization does not wait for problems to become disasters. They act early, sometimes uncomfortably early, and often at a cost that shocks fans in the moment.
To understand what this rumor really means, you have to understand how the 49ers think. This is not a front office driven by emotion or loyalty to names. It is driven by windows, competitive windows, cap windows, and health windows. When those windows align, San Francisco pushes chips to the center of the table. When they sense a crack forming, they move before the crack becomes a collapse. That is why this rumor matters.
It suggests the 49ers see something that the public either cannot see yet or is not taking seriously enough.
One obvious area of tension is the quarterback position, even if many fans are uncomfortable admitting it. Brock Purdy's story is remarkable, but remarkable stories do not override cold evaluation. The 49ers have consistently insulated themselves against quarterback uncertainty, even when things appear stable on the surface. The presence of Mac Jones on the roster is not accidental, and it was not just about having a backup. It was about leverage, contingency, and optionality.
When insiders hint at a massive move, quarterback inevitably enters the conversation, whether fans like it or not.
That does not automatically mean San Francisco is abandoning Purdy or actively shopping for a replacement. It means they are evaluating ceilings. Kyle Shanahan has spent his career chasing a specific type of quarterback play: fast processing, accuracy over aggression, and absolute command of structure. If he believes the current setup limits the offense's ultimate ceiling against elite postseason defenses, he will not hesitate to explore alternatives.
That exploration alone could qualify as a massive move, even if it never becomes public until the last possible moment. Another angle that cannot be ignored is the roster's financial gravity. The 49ers are approaching a critical cap crossroads. Massive contracts are already committed to core players, and more are coming. Brandon Ayuk's situation looms large, as does the long-term planning around stars like Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa, and Trent Williams. A massive move may not be about adding a star at all.
It may be about subtracting one, reshaping the financial structure of the team before it becomes unsustainable.
Fans often underestimate how ruthless successful franchises must be to stay successful. Moving a popular player at peak value is one of the hardest decisions a front office can make, but it is also one of the smartest if timed correctly. If San Francisco believes a key player's value will never be higher or their availability will never be more reliable than it is right now, the responsible move may be to cash in early.
That kind of decision always leaks as a shock or massive move because emotionally it feels wrong even when strategically it makes sense.
Defense is another area where subtle cracks may be forming. The 49ers' defense remains talented, but the margin between elite and merely good in today's NFL is razor thin. Injuries, age, and scheme familiarity can erode dominance faster than fans expect. If the front office believes its championship window depends on reloading one critical defensive position, they will not hesitate to trade premium assets to do it.
A blockbuster trade for a pass rusher, corner, or even a defensive leader would absolutely qualify as the kind of move insiders are hinting at.
What makes this rumor more credible is the silence surrounding it. There is no chaotic media blitz, no conflicting reports, no exaggerated timelines, just a quiet, deliberate suggestion that something significant is being discussed internally. That is exactly how San Francisco prefers it. When the 49ers want attention, they get it. When they want secrecy, they keep it. Insiders speaking in vague terms often indicates they are aware of activity but lack confirmation on final direction, which means multiple paths are being explored simultaneously. Critically, fans should resist the instinct to assume this move is purely reactive. The 49ers are not a desperate franchise. They are proactive to the point of discomfort. This is the same organization that traded significant draft capital for Trey Lance while already having a Super Bowl caliber roster. That decision did not come from panic, it came from ambition. The failure of that move does not eliminate the mindset that produced it. If anything, it reinforces the belief that standing still is the real risk. There is also a psychological component at play. The 49ers have been close, painfully close, too many times. Conference championship losses, Super Bowl heartbreak, seasons derailed by injuries at the worst possible moment. Eventually, a front office begins to ask whether being almost good enough is actually a trap. When insiders hint at a massive move, it often means leadership is questioning whether incremental improvement is sufficient or whether something more disruptive is required to finally break through. Some fans will immediately frame this as betrayal or instability. That reaction misses the point. Stability without evolution leads to stagnation. The NFL punishes complacency faster than any major sport. The teams that stay on top are the ones willing to question their own success. If San Francisco believes its current formula, while effective, has a ceiling that stops short of a championship, then changing the formula becomes not reckless but necessary. It is also important to understand that massive does not always mean flashy. Sometimes the biggest moves are the ones fans barely understand at first. A contract restructure that enables a future acquisition. A trade down that sets up a later strike. A player for picks exchange that looks underwhelming until the ripple effects unfold over multiple seasons. Insiders often use dramatic language because they understand the long-term implications, not just the headline value. That said, there is risk here. Aggression cuts both ways. The 49ers already carry scars from bold decisions that did not pay off as planned. Any massive move now will be judged harshly, especially if it involves quarterback, premium draft capital, or a beloved star. The margin for error is thin, and the fan base's patience is not infinite. The front office knows this, which means if they are seriously considering something drastic, they believe the alternative is worse. This brings us to the most uncomfortable truth. The 49ers may believe their championship window is narrower than the public realizes. Windows close quickly, often without warning. Injuries accumulate, contracts balloon, opponents adjust. If leadership believes the next 1 to 2 seasons represent the true peak of this roster, then maximizing those seasons becomes the overriding priority. Long-term comfort is sacrificed for short-term dominance. That mindset produces massive moves. Ultimately, this rumor should not be dismissed as clickbait, nor should it be blindly celebrated. It should be treated as a signal that the 49ers are evaluating themselves with brutal honesty. A signal that success has not blinded them to risk, and a signal that no position, no contract, and no assumption is completely safe if it stands between this team and a Super Bowl. Whether this rumored move materializes or not, the fact that it is being discussed tells us something important about where the organization's head is at. The 49ers are not satisfied, they are not comfortable, and they are not content to let fate decide whether this era ends with a championship or a footnote. They are willing to intervene, even if it shocks the league. And that, more than any specific name or trade scenario, is what should command attention. Because when the San Francisco 49ers decide to make a massive move, it is rarely about impulse. It is about belief. Belief that the risk is justified. Belief that standing still is more dangerous than moving forward. And belief that the window, however small, is still worth everything they are willing to pay to climb through it.
If this rumor proves true, the fallout will be immediate and loud. Analysts will argue, fans will divide, narratives will clash. But by the time the dust settles, one thing will be clear. The 49ers chose action over comfort. And in a league designed to punish hesitation, that choice alone may define the next chapter of this franchise's story.